Welcome back to another episode of the Well Done podcast. Today's episode is one that I've been really looking forward to because I am chatting with Jessica Rose. She is a licensed cosmetologist, a wellness educator, and she's also the author of the book Healthier Beauty. So today we're going to dive deep into what's in our beauty products. We'll talk about skin health, hair health, and how we as consumers can make more empowered choices so that we can live better and we can look better. Welcome to the show, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
Of course, I'm excited to dive in. So, Jessica, you have been in this space for over 15 years, and now you've written this amazing book that challenges some of those assumptions that we've had about clean beauty, and it really digs into how the average person can really understand skincare ingredients, skin health, hair health, nail health, so that we can make more empowered choices. I want to really start there. What does healthier beauty mean to you?
I chose Healthier Beauty to teach women a healthier approach to beauty. So often we're marketed, skincare and just all these products that really don't do much for our skin health long term. And they also interact with our health, which is the foundation of beauty. So I really want to teach women with my book a wellness focused approach to beauty, which is taking into account all your health factors and just creating a really sustainable wellness routine that will actually help you with your long-term beauty and empower women to do it themselves and not rely on brands like skincare brands or wellness influencers to tell them what's healthy, because ultimately the choice is ours. And when we have the tools, we have the education, then it's a lot easier to make healthy, sustainable lifestyle choices.
You've spent a long time in this industry. What were some of those things that led you to wanting to educate the consumer on some of these ideas?
It really started from my own personal health and wellness journey, just from not feeling my best growing up, eating fast food, TV dinners, and just, I made my own DIY skincare ingredients when I was a kid. I grew up really poor, and so we didn't have a lot of money to buy different beauty products. So I started just using plant oils, different herbs, and just formulating my own products, and I saw how effective they were. And I just felt really empowered. And till this day, I've only had one professional facial. I don't like relying on other people to do my hair, my skin. I really just taught myself how to do it myself so I could be self-reliant. And then later on, when I got into nutrition, I loved learning about holistic health. I had already taught myself for many, many years. But there was one missing component that I found was there was no education in school about toxins and how they impact your health. And I just didn't feel that going forward once I graduated that I could fully help my clients heal with all the knowledge I had gained, because so many of the products that we use today in our wellness routine or our beauty products, they're filled with harmful chemicals that can influence your health. So if you're only focused on diet and exercise, it's really difficult. I don't believe you can fully get healthy. So I just decided I wanted to really teach women the full picture, what I call whole body health. And so I really just started implementing that into my practice. And once I did, all these opportunities started coming for me to be on TV, write for wellness brands. And I've always been a writer since I've been a little girl. I was really into poetry. And I would just have this, passion for writing. And so I started getting opportunities to write for wellness brands. And then I said, I'm a ghostwriter for all these people who are having books coming out. They're having their brands having all these features of articles, but I'm not getting any credit. And I know that I really want to help women with my unique strategy, which I call healthier beauty, because it's not just your skin. It's not just your hair. It's not just the foods you're eating or the toxins. It's a whole picture. And when I looked for books out there, they were only focused on one topic like skin or hair or nutrition or anti-aging food recipes or DIY beauty recipes. I couldn't find something in a book that I felt that would give women a complete guide. So I call it the ultimate guide that has everything that you need in one book so you feel empowered. And I broke it down really simply because I really want women to understand that health is not only for the affluent, health is for everybody. We all deserve to feel healthy. We all deserve to feel beautiful as we age. And I truly believe that the best way to look and feel good as you age is to make your health a priority. So that's where Healthier Beauty was really grown from, just a very organic, holistic lifestyle that I created and then wanted to teach to others.
I completely agree with you that it's not just like one aspect. It's not just the products and the nutrition. It's all of it, right? Because you can't fix one aspect without fixing another. And I went through that with my own skin journey. I was really conscious of the products I was putting on myself, but then realized that I was ingesting toxins and I was doing all these other things that were toxic to me. And I didn't think about the whole body approach, like you mentioned. Going back a little bit, we talk about skin health, and you actually focus a lot about skin health in your book. When we're thinking about skin health and healthy skin, what does that really mean biologically? How is the immune activity in our skin contributing to our overall beauty and our overall skin health?
Our skin is an immune organ. It's one of our body's largest organs. People don't believe that our skin interacts with our immune health. And a lot of people don't believe your skin has a filtration system. Everybody says what you put on your skin goes straight into your bloodstream. That's not true. Our skin has a filtration system. They're called Langerhans cells, and they scan for foreign matter. So I really like to teach women that it's not just vanity caring for your skin. So much of the holistic health world is anti, beauty almost in a way from the really deep holistic people that I've interacted with over the years. And it's like, oh, if you care about the way you look, then that's vain. But I really like to push it home that caring about your skin is a part of health, because if you don't protect your skin's barrier and you're using all these really heavy active ingredients, constantly exfoliating, not wearing sunscreen, or just simply moisturizing, you're weakening your skin barrier, which will then weaken your immune system. So it's very simple. Your skin is the first line of defense for your immune system. There's so much immune activity that happens in your skin. So if you care for your skin, you're also really supporting your immune system. And, that's really important for healthy aging as well.
What are the signs of a damaged skin barrier? How do we know that our skin barrier is damaged?
So if you're using, a moisturizer every single day and your skin is just so dry, no matter how heavy of a moisturizer or oils you use, that's definitely a sign, because your skin can't retain that moisture. If you break out with rashes, if you have extra loss in collagen and elasticity, if you feel irritation when you're putting on your products, it's just downright feels really sensitive all the time, that's a sign of a damaged skin barrier. And it's really important to just do less. That's my biggest thing, is teaching women a less is more approach. We're often marketed so many products to fix your skin, but your skin really doesn't like a lot of products, and it doesn't like a lot of ingredients. Just really keeping it simple is the best way to support your skin barrier.
Yeah, I know. There's always that misconception that more is better for your skin, like we should be layering it on, when really it's about allowing your skin to heal and breathe and kind of take care of itself, because that's what biologically your body is capable of, right? One of the things that you also focus on in your book is around how lifestyle factors really contribute to the way your skin looks and the way that you look. Can you break down some of these major lifestyle factors that you mentioned? What is it about what you're doing, I guess, in your day to day that can impact how you look?
Diet is the number one thing that's going to influence how your skin looks. So often, we're just sold the beauty products, but what you put on the end of your fork is the best beauty tool out there. So really focusing on your skin health from the inside out. That's the number one way, is eating a healthy diet with healthy proteins, healthy fats, plenty of water. I write in my book an analogy about thinking about how your skin's like a raisin. And so if you think about a raisin that's dehydrated, but if you hydrate it with a bunch of hydrating liquid ingredients or lots of fruits and vegetables every day, that's going to plump up your skin to look more like a grape instead, because it's hydrated, the skin's taut and plump. And so just taking it from a food first approach. And then different things I've noticed for myself and my clients is something a lot of us don't think about, is losing weight too quickly can really age your skin, because it's not healthy to lose more than 2 to 3 pounds in a week. Everybody wants this quick, rapid weight loss, but what happens is your skin can't keep up with that weight loss. So what happens is you lose a bunch of collagen and elasticity. And if your skin's not able to snap back in place, then you'll notice your skin becoming really lax, wrinkles, collagen loss. I've experienced that myself, where I lost, maybe a little bit of weight too quickly. And I definitely saw a loss of collagen in my skin and my face. So it's important to just take health from a more practical approach and not really just try to lose weight too quickly or just focus on the outside. Really focus on what you're doing on the inside with staying hydrated. And I really like eating fruits and vegetables as a source of hydration. We often just think of water, But if you're just drinking plain filtered water, sometimes it lacks enough minerals in there. So if you're eating something like watermelon or just different hydrating stuff like coconut or just any type of fruit out there is in vegetables, they're abundant in water and they usually contain a lot of minerals and vitamins and just nutrients that will help your body retain the water. A lot of my clients, I notice that they will drink so much water every day, but they're really dehydrated because their water is just void of minerals. So I always say sprinkle some sea salt in, maybe put an electrolyte powder that's clean, or just simply eat fruits and vegetables because that's your best source of hydration, even more so than water a lot of times.
You mentioned collagen loss if you lose weight too quickly. How does somebody rebuild their collagen?
People are really like gung ho about collagen powders, which they are really good as a supplement, but just eating enough protein every day, whole proteins. I would say, for women, it's really easy to think that, I always say this, one egg is enough, but it's not. Women should be having at least 40 grams of protein with almost every meal, especially breakfast, to support your hormonal health. So just, amp it up. Maybe you're talking 2 to 3 eggs, just getting enough healthy fats and healthy protein in your diet because at the end of the day, collagen is protein and it's broken down to amino acids. So you don't necessarily have to take a collagen powder in order to build collagen. You just need to eat enough protein. And then you also need enough cofactors, which I like to call them little assistants, so that your body can actually absorb the collagen. So you're thinking of things like vitamin C as a cofactor for collagen synthesis. Bell peppers are one of my favorites for vitamin C because they're incredibly high in vitamin C. So just eating really high vitamin C rich foods and then also collagen. I do bone broth. That's my favorite beauty food out there. I make it from home and I add chicken feet for an extra collagen boost. And it's one of the best ways to make a collagen rich broth. I drink it daily. I add it to my beans, my stews. I saute with it. I'm almost having bone broth every single day, which is just a really absorbable form of collagen. And, it's not highly processed like the other stuff out there. And it's just really easy to incorporate into your diet. I call it liquid beauty gold because it's just so good for your skin and your hair and your nails. And when I had a leaky gut and candida, I drank it 3 times a day on my protocol, and it really helped to seal up my gut, which is also another factor for how you're going to look. Because if you have leaky gut or any type of gut imbalance, you're not absorbing the healthy food that you're eating. So you could eat every healthy food in the world and spend so much money on organic food, but if you're not absorbing it, then it's not going to feed your skin and your hair and nails. It's almost like you're wasting your money. Gut health is paramount for looking and feeling your best, especially feeling your best too, because the neurotransmitters and immune activity are produced in your gut. So gut health is the foundation of your beauty and your health.
Right. Going back to the collagen piece, I know that there's probably a lot of people who don't eat meat who are listening who might be vegan or vegetarian. What are alternatives to bone broth that are still giving you the protein? What would be great alternatives to build up collagen then in that case?
If you're going to be vegan or vegetarian, it's really important to learn how to do it properly because there's nothing wrong with that model of eating. It's just that you have to be educated to know that plant-based foods don't contain all of the amino acids to make a whole protein. And in order to be able to be utilized to build collagen, you need a whole protein. So say you have beans, okay, well, they don't have all the essential amino acids. So pair it with something like rice that has the other missing amino acids to build a whole protein within the same day. Eating nuts and seeds is just learning how to eat enough plant-based foods and pairing them together properly, which takes education and research because I see a lot of vegetarians or vegans who will just eat beans every day and then think they're getting enough protein, but it's not a whole protein that will go and build that collagen. And I get a lot of questions about what's the alternative to the gelatin or the bone broth. You can use things like agar, but it's not going to give you those. It'll give you the same gelatinous properties, but it's not going to have the same health benefits. You can also do things like that are collagen boosters, like I said, with the vitamin C or zinc. Those are cofactors that are actually going to help build that collagen so then your body can naturally produce it. So if you're vegan or vegetarian, then it's important to also have a healthy dose of all the cofactors that will help your body naturally make the collagen.
Got it. Okay. One thing that I loved about your book is that it really deep dives into hair health. And I feel like that's a topic that, often we don't talk about when we talk about beauty is how to really care for your hair. in your book, you actually pointed out that you need to understand hair porosity in order to really have and achieve good hair. Can you explain a little bit about what is hair porosity and why we need to know about that?
So your hair porosity is your hair's ability to absorb moisture. There's low, medium, and high hair porosity, and each of our hair is different, and it's basically the hair you're born with, or it's due to chemical and lifestyle factors. But I like to explain it like shingles on a roof. When your hair is high porosity, then the shingles are going to be higher, which means that water and moisture can penetrate easy, but they also can leave your hair easily. So you'll notice your hair is really dry and brittle, kind of looks like a broom sometimes, and it's hard to really keep that moisture. Or you could have a low hair porosity, which means it's not impossible, but it's extremely difficult to get that moisture in because that shingles on the roof are very sealed closed. So it's your cuticle layer it's really difficult to get it to lift and to get that moisture into your hair. So it's about learning different techniques to get your hair to absorb moisture properly so your hair will look healthier. I talk about it in the book. I break it down for each different hair porosity type. You take a test and you determine your hair porosity type, and then you create a hair care routine based on that. So many times people will say, rinse your hair with cold water to help seal the cuticle. Across the board, most people do that. But what happens if you have a low porosity hair that already has a cuticle that's sealed closed is you've now completely sealed it. There's no opening it, and any product that you put on it afterwards can't penetrate into your hair. And so it just sits on there, weighs it down, does zero for your hair, and your hair does not absorb that moisture, and it just looks dry and weighed down. And so someone who has low porosity hair would need to use a lot of heat. I always recommend that my clients apply their hair care products while they're in the shower with the steam and the water still going, and then their hair is sopping wet still, because water is a transporter of hydration. Many times people think that water in a skincare or hair care product is bad, but it's actually really good because you need water to transport hydration, which is water, into your skin, in your hair. So while your hair is soaking wet, then someone with low porosity hair would then go and use that water as a transporter and apply the products, and then even put on a shower cap if they can, and then have it heated up, like one of those flaxseed ones that you heat up. And then that heat will help it drive all that moisture really deep into the hair. And it's also about learning the right ingredients for high or low porosity hair. They're completely different. So if I were to use something for high porosity hair, my hair would just look like a grease ball. You have to use completely different products. There's a few brands out there that do make porosity type products, and I found them really effective because, they really focus on your hair's ability to absorb the moisture. But yeah, it's a really underrated topic, but I've had some people reach out since reading the book, and they're like, oh my gosh, this has completely changed like how my hair looks, especially if you have curly or wavy hair. It's a game changer.
But how should somebody shop for hair products? So, if they do know their hair porosity, is there a rule of thumb that somebody should apply when they're shopping for hair products based on their porosity?
So I read about it in the book. You'll want to look for ingredients that are for your hair porosity. So let's just take low porosity because it's probably the one that needs the moisture the most. Is you want to look for things that are called humectants. And so those are things like glycerin or panthenol. There's honey. There's different things that are really going to drive in that hydration into your hair while still being lightweight. So in the clean beauty world, everybody uses coconut oil on their hair. And I used that for a long time. My hair got drier and drier and was started breaking off. And I said, well, why? The coconut oil is supposed to be great for your hair, until I realized that for my low porosity hair, it actually was too heavy and could not whatsoever. The molecules were too big to penetrate into low porosity hair. So then I switched over after I taught myself was the right oils for my hair are really lightweight, like grapeseed oil or jojoba oil that can penetrate. So when I put them on my hair, they immediately go in the hair. And when I put on coconut oil, it just always felt like it was sitting on my hair, never absorbed into my hair whatsoever. So You really have to first determine your hair porosity type and then look up the ingredients that are best. You can find it in my book, you can find it online. Just type in online what are the best ingredients for low porosity hair, and then read the ingredient label and shop for products that are actually contain that. If you had low porosity hair, you definitely don't want to be using really heavy ingredients like the coconut oil that are in most products, shea butters, way too heavy, castor oils, way too heavy for low porosity hair. So just like really looking for ingredients that are more for formulated for, I would say, fine hair. If you just had to go for the simpler route, really lightweight products.
Got it. Okay. Shifting to product labels, one of the things that I think is super hard for the average consumer is navigating product labels because there's so much marketing speak. What is your approach to looking at labels? What should we actually pay attention to?
So there's a two-prong approach. I like to tell people to first learn how to read the ingredient labels and to focus on minimizing their exposure to harmful chemicals. And then once they've navigated that, they know how to read an ingredient label on their own. Then I teach them how to minimize their ingredient exposure, because too many ingredients, doesn't matter if they're organic, cold pressed jojoba oil, too many ingredients also affects your immune health. And that's something I really like to drive home because it's not talked about enough in the health and beauty space. Like I said earlier with the Langerhans cells, it doesn't matter when you put, let's say, a USDA organic clean beauty product on your skin. If it has 100 ingredients, then your body takes all of its attention from your liver health and your hormone health and all your beautification, and it directs all of its attention towards those 100 ingredients. It does not matter whether it's healthy or not. It's going to say, okay, we have a job to do. We need to keep this person safe. What is this? All these ingredients. It's organic jojoba oil. Here's a paraben. Here's fragrance. It has to decipher all these ingredients, opposed to if you just put something with 15 ingredients, its job is a lot quicker and it's easier for your body. And then it's like, all right, we're done with that. The product is minimal, and then brings its attention back towards, let's focus on her liver health again. Let's focus on her hair health, her skin health. So I always say first learn how to read ingredient labels and minimize your toxic exposure. But then once you feel comfortable with that, learn how to minimize your ingredient exposure too, because they're both equally important to me in my eyes for, really empowering women to feel healthy long term.
Are there ingredients that you just inform your clients to completely stay away from?
Yes, so parabens are a big one. The number one thing I would say is fragrance, just because it can hide so many undisclosed ingredients. So fragrance is a big one. It's in your probably everyone's, if you haven't switched over to a low tox lifestyle, it's in your cleaning supplies, it's in your beauty supplies, it's in everything that we have, even like your laundry detergent. Talc is a big one. I know that's in a lot of beauty products still. There's just a host of different ingredients. I have a non-toxic beauty guide on my website that's pretty simple. It's about 15 ingredients. In my book, it's a little bit more extensive of the ingredients. So what I really found across the board is there'll be guides that'll tell you like, okay, let's avoid fragrance or let's avoid this ingredient. But then someone will just pick up a product and they don't know which product will have that ingredient, so they're spending all this excess time looking for ingredients those ingredients would never be in. So I break it down into the actual products that those toxins will be found in, and then I also break it into the alternative words, because something like talc can be talcum powder, magnesium silicetate. But if someone just said avoid talc and you're new to clean beauty, then you're just going to look for talc, and then you could buy a product that has magnesium silicetate and then you have no idea you're still using talc. So I thought that was incredibly important for me to put in the book, is all the alternative names that toxins can be found under, so people can be more empowered and not have to rely on websites and different, apps and stuff like that. So I really like to teach people to first use websites, apps, my book, and inform yourself, but then take it upon yourself to start learning, ingredients and how they interact with your health, because I never want anyone to rely on just one source, one person to tell them what's healthy, because who's to say that person's always correct? None of us are always correct. A lot of people in the clean beauty world like synthetic colorants. I personally don't use synthetic colorants, but that's just because I've educated myself and have chosen not to do in my beauty routine. But somebody else could like synthetic colorants and it's fine for them.
You're saying that synthetic colorants are technically clean in this scenario, but they're not natural. And I think that's where some people can get really confused if they see a beauty product that says all natural, or if it says it's clean, what does that mean?
What I like to teach people is it doesn't matter what the product says. You need to learn how to read ingredient labels and turn it over and then understand what those ingredients are. It doesn't matter if it says natural, clean, holistic, toxin free. A lot of these things are made up. Like, what is toxic free? Who's regulating that term toxic free or even clean? I had a discussion one time with the organic skincare formulator. Her products are USDA organic, and you can say natural or healthy. There's no one regulating what's in those products whatsoever. So everyone says the beauty industry is toxic. I like to say, okay, but we also have to point our finger at the clean beauty industry because they're part of the beauty industry. So if the beauty industry is not regulated, that still means the clean beauty industry is also not regulated as well. So the only part of clean beauty that's regulated is USDA organic skincare products. Those are the only brands you'll find that actually have someone going to their actual facility and checking that all those ingredients they're quoting are in there. They have to be in there, and they have to show proof for every single source of their ingredients, and it's a very rigorous, extensive process. But let's just say a brand is, I don't know, natural, clean. They could say it has rosehip seed oil, avocado oil. Who is checking those brands? Just because they say that does not necessarily mean that's true. They don't have to turn over all this information to some regulating body verifying that that's true. I'm all for clean beauty, but there's no one actually verifying that on a regular basis.
So you're saying that it has to say USDA organic for it to truly mean that the ingredients are organic. But if it says made with organic ingredients, as an example, you don't really know?
Well, there's a difference between USDA organic and then organic. So organic can be up to 95% ingredients, and then USDA organic means that those products, there has to be a regulating body verifying that. And then those all have to be agriculturally grown ingredients. So a lot of times people will say, oh, I won't use a beauty product unless it's organic, but then things like minerals cannot be deemed organic because they're not grown. So there's a lot of nuances, and it's just, I would say, learning about ingredients and then also reaching out to brands too, because there's a lot of good clean beauty brands that are very small and they'll answer your questions, and a lot of them will show you verification. And just because a brand doesn't say organic doesn't mean that it's not healthy, because there's a lot of really good small mom and pop holistic beauty brands, but they cannot afford to be, paying for that certification. It's extremely expensive.
What are a few product swaps you think are non-negotiable? Where should one really start? What are the biggest offenders from a makeup and beauty standpoint that we should start looking into first?
I'd say the first place to start would be your lip products, even if that's chapstick, lip gloss, lipsticks, just because they are worn on our lips and they have a higher exposure for us to ingest them. We're constantly licking our lips or just eating, it gets ingested. So looking for just a really natural air quotes, clean beauty product and understanding what's in there. That's the first one. It's really not hard. Just when you're going to eat, I still do this. It's crazy, but I'll just wipe off my lipstick, even my chapstick, because I read about in the book how it can be organic, it could be healthy, but that doesn't mean it's a food-based product that your body really wants to ingest. So just wipe off your products before you eat so you're not ingesting whatever's on your lips is a good place to start. And then I would say anything that covers your body in a large portion. So if you're using makeup, I would say your foundation, your powder, your blushes, your bronzers, those are all going to be applied in greater quantities. So really being aware of those. And then also your sunscreen, if you're using a sunscreen, making sure you're using, healthy ingredients that aren't going to cause hormone disruption. And then your body products, if you're using a lotion, that's a large portion of your skin. But the biggest things are probably your lip products, your face products, and then your body products, if I had to choose the top three.
What are some rituals or other tools that could support, healthier beauty? In your book, you mentioned things like face yoga, facial acupuncture. If you can give us a little bit of insight into what are other ways we can look better?
I would say start with a gemstone roller. If you're someone who's really busy and you don't know if you can commit, then something as simple as, rose quartz or jade, and it's just something you roll on your face. It's relaxing, can help increase circulation. And then once you feel a little bit more comfortable, like that you're actually going to commit to that, then I say invest in a gua sha. There's a woman online, she's an acupuncturist, a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. Her name is Lan Shin, and she makes the most high quality gua shas, which is a stone that you use on your face to help lift and sculpt your face. And it's very relaxing, it's very anti-aging and beautifying, and it really helps with lymph drainage, and it really helps to lift your skin. A lot of us are just not used to, doing anything really self-care practice like that. It's usually about 20 minutes if you do it properly, a very slow process. You can watch Lan Shin's videos on YouTube. Then if you can commit to that 3 times a week, then I would say step it up and try something like face yoga. I'm an internationally certified face yoga instructor, and I teach women how to look and feel good naturally without having to resort to things like Botox and fillers and all that really unhealthy stuff. So face yoga is working out your face just like we do our bodies. We work out our bodies, but we stop at the neck. Why not work out our face? Our face has all these muscles in there, and we can keep them taut and healthy and beautiful just by exercising them. And it's about a 25-minute process 6 times a week. And it's really, really relaxing. It's one of those things where if I don't do it, I notice a difference just in how I feel. It's just incredibly relaxing, but it also helps to build the collagen and elastin in your skin, and it keeps your muscles really strong. And it really truly works. I've seen it across the board. Women send me their photos, and you can see the before and afters. And it's not just vanity, it's also really good for your health because you're improving circulation, you're tapping your skin, so it really helps with your nervous system. I always do it when I'm feeling stressed out. I just start tapping my skin. Something just like that is just incredibly easy. Every time you put on your skincare, just tap your skin, especially on the eyebrows. That takes 10 seconds when you're putting on your skincare. And if you haven't heard of it, you just go on YouTube, just type in face yoga. You're going to find millions of videos. I also have a playlist on my YouTube, Jessica Rose Wellness.
Great. So, as we wrap up, I do have a lightning round for you. Just a few quick questions. What's a myth about skincare that you wish people would forget?
I would say that you need to cleanse your skin morning and night. Actually, a lot of people, your skin's healthier. I'm one of them. When I only cleanse my skin at night, when we sleep, our skin produces these beautiful natural oils that are meant to protect us from the sun and harsh elements. So, cleansing your skin once a day can transform your skin to look way healthier.
What do you think is the most underrated ingredient in skincare?
I would say rosehip seed oil. It's really good for your skin. It brightens hyperpigmentation, helps with collagen, and it's just like a very potent ingredient that really just helps with anti-aging. It's one of those really beautifying products.
And the opposite of that, is there an ingredient that you feel is overrated?
Yes, it is retinol or any of your actives, to be honest. Even the plant-based alternative, which is bakuchiol, I find that everyone is using actives on their skin every single day, where that can really weaken your skin barrier, age you faster, affect your immune health. So I would say just minimizing your exposure to active ingredients. Most people think that's crazy, but I only recommend using actives 3 times a week and then using a really hydrating serum underneath it. So you're not just putting straight active ingredients on your skin because it will weaken your skin barrier over time, which then ages you. It's kind of a vicious hamster wheel cycle where you're using anti-aging products, but then you're also aging your skin faster, and then you're using more ingredients to fix the problem. Just be kind to your skin and use less is more approach to
Mhm.
your beauty routine.
Speaking of routines, do you have a skincare routine that is your go-to each day?
Yes, so I don't cleanse my skin in the morning. I keep my routine super simple in the morning. I just take a shower, spray my face with the hydrosol, and then I just put on an oil. Night, I do the full cleanse, and then I will do a moisturizer. I really believe in if you have more, I'm in my 40s, so I do like a mature skin routine, even though my skin's not really that mature. But I do a moisturizer, and then I wait for it to sink in for 10 minutes, and then I put an oil on top, which really helps to lock in that moisture and hydration. In the holistic beauty world, there's a lot of people only using oils, but oils do not hydrate your skin. They don't have any hydrating properties, which comes from water or humectants like glycerin and honey, aloe vera. And then I do the face yoga. I'm very, very simple. I really don't do a lot. I just do the face yoga. I slap on my moisturizer, and I believe that a less is more is just the best way to look and feel good. And when I do any type of mask, I make them myself. I do goat kefir on my face. I only exfoliate twice a month, and I just smear goat kefir all over my face, my neck, and my décolleté, and that acts as a natural exfoliant because it has a low amount of lactic acid. It's also very hydrating and moisturizing for your skin. Or I just use brown rice flour and I mix it in my palm in the shower, and then I gently exfoliate my skin. And just those two ingredients are like amazing for your skin. That and Manuka honey.
That's great. You actually answered my next question, which was your favorite DIY beauty recipe. So I'll ask you a different one. If you could give yourself advice, maybe like 15 years ago, what would you tell yourself about health and beauty?
I would tell myself to just stick true to your model for how you want to help people and just listen to my intuition because, for a while I tried really hard when I got into the holistic nutrition space and got my certification to go to all these conventions with your traditional holistic practitioners. And I would talk about how I want to help people with fusing together my cosmetology license. And people would laugh at me constantly and just think like, okay, this doesn't belong here. Why are you talking about beauty at a nutrition convention? So I would tell myself to not get down on myself because people don't understand my passion, my methodology for how I want to help people, and to just be more confident because we all have a unique passion and we're created to really help people in a certain way. So I would tell myself, you know what? It's going to work out. Just stick true to your vision and just believe in yourself because we all have a unique way that we want to help people. And mine was fusing together my nutrition and cosmetology license.
Are there any foods that contribute to overall skin health that you personally follow?
Yes, bone broth is the number
Right.
one. I just absolutely love. And then avocados, I think these are across the board. Most people do. And then I just absolutely love coconut water, watermelon. I like dark chocolate. In my book, I talk about sun protection from the inside out. So you can actually eat something like dark chocolate, really high percent of cacao, that will give you added protection from the sun. Different things like antioxidants, or watermelon has lycopene. So you're eating your sunscreen and also just minimizing your exposure to foods that actually speed up sun age, like aging on the skin from the sun. So seed oils are going to really contribute to skin aging. So yeah, I would say watermelon, dark chocolate, all those beauty foods are really good for you.
Last question. I noticed that your foreword is written by Katherine Heigl. Is there a story behind that?
We have a mutual friend, and so she found out about me from my television appearances, and she just absolutely loved my method for teaching holistic beauty. So we gave her a copy of my book and she fell in love with it, and she agreed to write the forward for my book. And honestly, I just feel so honored, and it's in the back of my mind, but it's not like a huge part of it. But when people remind me about it, I'm like, I just feel really lucky about that because that's not something I ever expected or dreamed of, honestly.
I love that. Where can people find more about you, your book? Where can they connect with you?
I would say start with my book just because that's everything that I teach wrapped up in one easy guide for you to implement into your life. So, Healthier Beauty, the ultimate guide to radiant skin, hair, and wellness. You could find that on Amazon, Apple Books, and Kobo, or you can order a copy directly from me. Just message me on my website, which is jessicarosewellness.com. And then you can find me on social media, and that's Jessica Rose Wellness across the board for all social platforms.